Well, greetings, Mr. President and Vice President, as well as Nancy Pelosi and every Democrat that is watching this. My name is Wendy Sadler. I'm from Bensalem, PA, and I'm speaking on behalf of my husband, Ricky Sadler. I will see if I can include a picture of him here. We have been married, it'll be this June, we will have been married 17 years. And I'm here to speak out on how much of a disaster, complete and utter disaster, that Obamacare has been for us. Hold on to your seats. Make sure to be willing to sit for a little bit here, Mr. President, because what I've got to tell you, you are going to flip out on. It started off with in 2014, when it was mandatory for everybody to go on this mess. My husband did not want to because he could not afford it. He couldn't. I looked on there, I figured maybe I could try to find something. Well, I thought I found something. When I went on the website, the plan that we both thought would be perfect was a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. This was in 2014, mind you. This was for $124 a month with a $6,000 deductible. Had a $40 copay for seeing your family doctor, $80 copay for specialist, etc. And had a little bit of a decent prescription coverage, nothing fancy. And this was after the subsidy would kick in. However, when I got on the website and I started going through everything, despite the fact that my husband and I combined that in 2014 made less than 37 grand. They say, the website says we don't qualify for any subsidy. I'm like, wait a minute. So then I went on the 800 number. I spoke with someone we went over all of it. She says, oh, magically enough, my husband qualified for a $300 a month subsidy, which was terrific. However, when we went through all the plans over the phone, especially this one, here's where what I call the bait and switch screw job comes in. According to what the rep tells me, the plan that my husband and I wanted turned out to be $202 a month after the subsidy kicked in. My husband can't afford that, Mr. President. So we went through a whole bunch of others. We found this really, really rinky plan, still with Blue Cross Blue Shield for $112 a month. That I saw on the website for $112 a month, but that turned out to be $168.10 a month after the subsidy kicked in. This offered no coverage until he met the entire $6,000 deductible. Okay? From what I gathered at this point, they were putting one set of prices on the website to bait people in, and when they go through the whole procedure, the website then tells them something else, and when they talk with a rep, they're doing the same thing. And they try to force you into either an extremely expensive or extremely lousy plan. And, my husband was thinking, the commercials that were out for people getting coverage for $23 or $67 a month. We don't know what in the world they were smoking. But here's where it even gets worse, Mr. President. In 2015, at the end of 2014, this particular plan that my husband was on, which kind of was suitable for him because my husband hardly ever got sick. Well, the end of that year, end of 2014, they announce we're discontinuing this plan, and they wanted to put my husband on a plan that was $200 and some a month, and my husband could not afford that. We recalled, went through the whole rigmarole, and I found this plan through United Healthcare that was $170 some a month. Yeah, $170 some a month. And here's where it gets really, really fun. That's all I can say. We go through United Healthcare, and they seem to be okay. Stress seemed, okay? In 2015, my husband had a very horrific thing happen to him. Something that I would not wish on anybody. He was hit by a drunk driver. And we started even discovering beforehand that this coverage from United Healthcare wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Even though it had a copay and it had a bit of a discount for prescriptions, if you go to visit an urgent care center, which my husband had to do for, I believe it was Mother's Day that year and around there. No, it was good for, but it was in the spring and around there. They don't take United Healthcare for healthcare coverage, which it was really not thrilling us. But my husband was willing to pay $230 some for the doctor visit to a patient first, and they were pretty decent people. But this is where the fun really comes in. During that year, I think it was about September, October, they inform us they're discontinuing his coverage. And we had to go through the whole rigmarole of another healthcare plan. We went from this to Aetna, and Aetna was even more expensive. Instead of $170 some a month, this was $190 some. So we're nearing the $200 range now, but Aetna's pretty decent, and that was the cheapest one we could find. Well, to make matters even worse, when it came tax time in 2016 for our taxes for 2015, our 1095As were screwed up. My husband's, excuse me. The 1095As he was supposed to get from United Healthcare were incomplete. They were missing at least from March to September, I believe. Aetna came in, no problem, all the correct months for the year 2015, but United Healthcare's was all screwed up. And we have documentation, Mr. President, of going to the healthcare not the website, but the health insurance marketplace phone number. We were getting phone calls from them, and we were going phone calls back and forth. And guess what? Got nowhere. We had to submit, and thank God we had a really good tax preparer with H&R Block, who I highly recommend, that helped us through it, that we were able to get our taxes done. It took until almost March or April for us to get our taxes done that year. It was a nightmare, a complete nightmare in 2016 in that area. And all through it, even United Healthcare was falsely claiming that my husband never paid his premiums. We had proof that he paid them. We have canceled checks, Mr. President. They even had the nerve to say, especially in particular, they went from saying he didn't pay all of them, or just all kinds of rigmarole, to then saying that his last month he never paid, which is bull. But in short, this is what my poor husband went through. Now, my husband, because of our fixed income, he found a decent plan. But who knows how that's going to turn out. I'm fortunate to be on Social Security disability like my husband is now, and I have a plan with Medicare, a Medicare supplement plan, because I'm on Medicare A and B, and I'm also on something we call Keystone 65 here in Pennsylvania. So, Mr. President, you can see the damage that Obamacare has done to my husband and I thought you'd want to know. If you've got any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll give you my contact information. I'll be more than happy to. Call me at 267-368-9644. I'd love to hear from you. You guys have a wonderful day.